The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets might be 3-8, but let's be honest, these final 6 weeks will shape a lot of what happens coming up next for this franchise. Boy Green joins us right now on the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Please subscribe and hit the like button below.
Super chat, baby.
Cut the line. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Big thank you to all the Asmaniacs who took time to listen to the Michael K. Show yesterday when I filled in for the guys from 3 to 7. I'm on ESPN New York again, my usual Sunday slot. Tomorrow from 4 to 5:30. Knicks pregame at 5:30, so only an hour and a half show, which means the YouTube postgame show for Jets Seahawks will start right when I get off the radio. So if you want my initial thoughts on Jets Seahawks, put on the radio 8:80 a.m. or download the ESPN New York app. You'll hear me from 4 to 5:30 Eastern. Then we go live at 5:30 on YouTube for the normal YouTube postgame show for Jets and the Seahawks. And we are presented by SeatGeek today. Promo code Jake Asman. When you buy your tickets through the SeatGeek app, we'll save you $20 if you're looking for last-second tickets for the Jets and the Hawks tomorrow at MetLife. Joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show is the great Paul Boy Green Esden Jr. Boy Green, hope you had a great Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and welcome back to the show, my friend.
Well, it's great to be back, Jakey, and you and Ty D. Butler, for goodness sake, on ESPN Radio, baby. You're everywhere. I'm glad that there's still a little bit of time for the Boy Green on the show, which I just called myself the Boy Green. That's kind of weird, but either way, here I am. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe in the back of your mind, you were thinking about the Ohio State. You got Ohio State,
sure.
Michigan today. I know where you're going.
Yeah, that was it for sure. That makes sense. That's what it was. But Jake, you're a friggin' superstar, baby, and it's great to do this again every week.
Looking forward to it. And we got a lot to talk about. I know this team is 3-8. You know, feels like forever since they last played with the bye week. And then, of course, even during the bye week, you get all the news of Joe Douglas and the Athletic stories and Rodgers commenting on such stories. So there's been a lot that's happened since the Jets last played a game. But there's 6 games to go, Boy Green. What to you are the biggest things you're looking at these final 6 weeks here for the Jets?
Well, first off, Aaron Bleepin Rodgers, man, if he doesn't look good coming out of the bye, then he's not going to look good the rest of the season. What magical pill would suddenly happen where he just kind of pops in a way that he hasn't so far this season? So this one is a big circled one for me, is Jets Seahawks at home, coming off the bye. I know the Jets, historically speaking, haven't been great coming off the bye, but Aaron Rodgers said he was incredibly healthy heading into that Colts game. That was week 11. You get the bye week 12. Now you're in week 13. We should see a renewed Aaron Rodgers, and that, of course, increases the ceiling of everybody else. Devontae, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and everyone of that nature. So number one thing I'm looking forward to is to see if we get a healthier version of Aaron Rodgers. And if we don't, I think it's over. I think these final 6 are really going to have a telltale on whether Aaron Rodgers is playing football next year, and, of course, whether or not it's for the Jets. I think that could influence the next head coach and GM. If they'd be dumb. If Aaron Rodgers looks awesome, they'd be silly to just say, we're moving on from Aaron Rodgers. We don't give a shit what he looks like through the final 6. To me, that'd be wild. So you have to factor in what this looks like. And then, of course, I think, as we all say, there's a 0.7% chance at the playoffs. So, yes, I'm saying there's a chance. But outside of that, you want to see the young guys keep making plays. And to me, it's about – we talked about this right before the show started, Jake. I know some people are rooting for the tank, and I'm giving tank a thought updates because that's what we all have to do in the conversation. But I'm not rooting for losses. I want wins, baby. We've had enough losses over the last bunch of years that I will rationalize the result that occurs. That if the Jets lose, okay, it's a better draft pick. But I'm rooting for wins. I'm rooting for touchdowns. I'm rooting for big plays, and that's what I'm hoping we're seeing. So healthier Aaron Rodgers, what does that look like coming out of the bye? And our young big-time players making big-time plays.
I think Rodgers is the biggest thing, especially in this game tomorrow, Boy Green, because you look at it from the perspective of he's not on the injury report. We keep hearing he's hurt. He said he's healthy. He says he's not hurt. Okay, well, clearly he has not moved the way he moved that night against New England in the home opener, a game you and I were both at. So you look at where Rodgers is at in his career. Sure, he says he wants to play for the Jets if he plays next year, but the reality is if he doesn't go out there and play a lot better, forget just playing for the Jets, who will probably move on from him. I don't know if there's a team that's handing Aaron Rodgers an opportunity to be an unquestioned starter next year. So he's not just playing for his Jets future. I think you bring up a great point. He might be playing for his future as an NFL quarterback, because I can't see this guy wanting to be a backup anywhere with his legacy and his stature in the league. So he's playing for his career, maybe not just with the Jets, but in the NFL in general.
Yeah, because like if he sucks in the final 6 games, who in their right mind would want to go after Aaron Rodgers? It just wouldn't make sense. Again, I think there is a path if Aaron plays really well to obviously him coming back with the Jets. And if not the Jets, the team that makes the most sense of this weird, bizarro Brett Favre world is the Minnesota Vikings, because Sam Darnold isn't staying there. I would be stunned. I think he's going to want a long-term deal, and somebody will give it to him because the scarcity of the quarterback market. And J.J. McCarthy had a second surgery, so that doesn't sound incredibly promising. And they do have the random dart throw of Daniel Jones. We'll see what that is, but that would make sense as they need a quarterback. They've got a lot of other pieces, could be intriguing, and Aaron could give it to the Packers twice a year. So whether it's the Jets or Vikings, I could see it, but the prerequisite, the ingredient to that recipe is Aaron Rodgers playing well down the stretch. If he doesn't, then all that is thrown out with the bathwater.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. We're simulcasting this Jake Asman show on the Boy Green YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check out Boy Green's channel. I want to give a huge shout out to all the Patreon users for your continuous support. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. We're running an awesome sale for Black Friday through Cyber Monday. If you go to the Jake Asman merch store and you use the new promo code that's out there for Patreon users, you get 25% off all merch items instead of the usual 15% that you get year round. So if you're thinking about buying any merch, t-shirts, coffee mugs, which have been a big seller the last couple of days, check it out, jakeasman.com. But first, join the Patreon because you'll save 25%. You'll basically be getting Patreon for free if you plan on buying merch, because you're going to save more than what the first month of a Patreon membership is going to cost you. So check it out, jakeasman.com/shop. You know, you look at some of the other storylines over the final 6 weeks. I mean, one of them is an individual stat line that I'm curious and hoping this guy could come through and break. Garrett Wilson needs a little less than 300 yards to go over 1,000 yards once again for the 3rd straight season. To me, he's the one guy without question. I don't care who the GM is. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm extending Garrett Wilson when he's eligible for an extension for the first time this offseason. How do you view Garrett Wilson, his future with the Jets, and does it mean anything to you that he'd be able to go over 1,000 yards for the 3rd straight season?
Absolutely. And quite frankly, he's on pace to be second all time in single season receptions for a Jet in a single season, to have the most second most receptions in a single season for a Jet ever. Brandon Marshall's number 1 at 109. Garrett Wilson's on pace for 107, and he'd be only the second player to ever have 100 plus catches in a season to go along with that Brandon Marshall year. So absolutely, I'm rooting for all those numbers. I want Garrett Wilson to, burn the world down with all the stats that he's coming in with. And Jake, to be honest, man, what a softball home run it is for the new regime that comes in. The new regime, again, we can all debate and argue who the best GM candidate is. Let's just say it's Ray Agnew. I don't know. He comes in, and one of the first moves you make is, boom, Garrett Wilson, he ain't going nowhere. Send out the Wolf on Wall Street, I'm not going anywhere. And then we're like, yeah, build a statue. This GM just made the greatest decision of all time. So he's got a couple of softballs, and to me, Garrett's the clearest one of the group because, Sauce and all his issues, and Brees is a running back, and Jermaine's coming off the injury. So the smoothest, easiest one to just win over the fan base immediately. Let's give Garrett Wilson a game-changing contract. Booyah, his ass ain't going nowhere. That would be an easy win for the new regime coming in, and to me, an easy decision. I mean, Garrett Wilson's looked awesome no matter who his quarterback is or has been, and if they, and I would assume so, that this new regime coming in is going to have an even better quarterback plan. We'll see whatever that is to put around Garrett. That to me seems easy peasy, man. Garrett is incredibly passionate. Jake, obviously you guys are always hanging out at Knicks games, rubbing elbows, the Jake Asman, Garrett Wilson combination. That may be the only better pairing than Boy Green and Jake Asman, as far as I'm concerned, is maybe Jake Asman and Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I got to tell you, man, Garrett him getting all the numbers I'm rooting for. He seems to be, he said it on the Kay Adams show, up in Adams, that 1,000 yards is something that means a lot to him. And he looks up to guys like Mike Evans, who has 10 plus years of 1,000-yard streaks. It doesn't seem like the 100-plus catch thing seems to matter to him last year. He didn't seem to care about it one way or the other, but the 1,000-yard does. And I'm glad that he's finally getting some touchdowns this year. And I think people are realizing outside of the Jets organization how talented Garrett is, because, a lot of people haven't known because the Jets have stunk, and he hasn't been scoring a lot of touchdowns. So fantasy numbers-wise, he hasn't been popping like a 10-touchdown season or anything of that nature. So it's cool that other people are learning how talented Garrett is, and obviously he's made some big-time plays. 2 of his biggest catches ever in primetime games. I still put that Buffalo Bills one number 1, and Zach Wilson's shitty throw, making it look even cooler with the circus juggle catch. I mean, I'd put that one slightly above Air Jordan there, but again, the fact that we're arguing about which one's great or better just shows how many great ones he's had so far in his early career.
Garrett Wilson has done and said all the right things since he's been here. And, you look at like Malik Neighbors, for example, who's just as talented, big-time star potential. Some of the comments he's made after these losses as a rookie, Garrett has never done that. So he seemingly, for a position that is full of divas, is one of the biggest leaders on the team. It's a no-brainer, I believe, to extend this guy. It sends the right message for a new regime to come in and recognize, hey, there's some really good players on this team. We got to take care of our own. So that'd be one of the first things I do if I'm the GM of the Jets this offseason. And that's what I want to see down the stretch here. I want to see Garrett get over 1,000, continue to play well, because you look at this job in the offseason, I think one of the selling points is that there are some real pieces in place for this next regime, Garrett being one of them on offense, Brees certainly being another when you look at this offense. Also, the offensive line potentially having already 4 of their 5 starters in place. There's a lot to actually look at with this roster and go, the cover's not bare here. This is not what Joe Douglas inherited when he took over in June of 2019. This is not what Saleh inherited when he became the head coach going into the 21 season. Like, there's legit talent on this team. And, speaking of the offensive line, I think what to watch for over the final 6 weeks, let's see what Olu Fashanu could do at left tackle. Because here's a guy that's only played to this point 1 game at his natural position. That was against the Indianapolis Colts when he started at left tackle. All the talk yesterday is Brock Bowers is amazing. How could the Jets not take him? And it's like, can we see what Olu ends up being first? And then maybe we can assess how good or bad that decision was. Last I checked, Will McDonald was a bust last year. Now he's been one of the few bright spots in this lost season. So it takes time to truly figure out what you have in a draft pick. That all said, I want to see what Olu does these final 6 weeks playing his natural position of left tackle.
And here's the other factor, we've been kind of overlooking this Brock Bowers thing. The Raiders suck. Right. They've got 2 wins. So despite the historic record-breaking stuff, which he is doing, and again, credit, he leads the league in catches right now. He's on pace to shatter the all-time rookie single-season mark, which, by the way, is Mike Ditka in 1961. He is the all-time leader receiving yards for a rookie. I was doing a Bowers-Olu article earlier today, and so that's crazy. So he's going to shatter that, but Ditka did that in 14 games. Bowers has 17 games. But, the Raiders stink, so he's getting force-fed all these targets on this crappy-ass team, but it hasn't resulted in wins. So Matt O'Leary had some joke yesterday because Peter Schrager tweeted, he's like, man, Olu could be an all-pro, but what would Brock Bowers be here with the Jets? How would things have changed? And Matt said, yeah, they'd probably still be 3-8. It's probably true. So for all the Brock Bowers people in the back of the room, look at it. Look at how many wins it's led to. Zip and pip. And by the way, positional importance. You just said it. Left tackle is way more important than tight end. If Olu Fashanu is this great left tackle that a lot of people hope and think he can be, who gives a shit about Brock Bowers? Awesome that he's this generational tight end. But Olu Fashanu, man, let's see what he can be. Normally draft analysts, Jake, we both have him on our show, say it takes 3 years to analyze it. We're analyzing it in 12 games. What the hell are we doing here, for God's sakes? And Fashanu's gotten 1 friggin' start at left tackle. Let's see what this kid has through the final 6. That's what I'm really excited about, too.
Yeah, and look, I think Olu's going to end up being really good. And Bowers, congrats to him. He's awesome. The Jets would be 3-8 with Brock Bowers if they selected him. Let's be honest. And the bottom line is this. If Olu pans out, he's panning out at a premium position where you look at the upcoming draft class, by the way, Dom C's telling us it's not a great tackle class. Well, good thing the Jets locked up their left tackle of the future last year, who I think is going to be a really good player. I think learning from Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses is going to do wonders for Olu. He was in a really good spot to develop, and I'm very excited to see what he could do because I think he's going to be a damn good player.
And Jake, you said that we could have 4 of the 5 back next year. We could have 5 of the 5 back.
I'd bring Moses back, yeah.
100%. I'm all on board. You got Olu at left tackle, John Simpson. You got the ghost of Joe Douglas. Pfft, thanks for John Simpson, pal. He's looked friggin' awesome. You have Joe Tippmann. You got AV2 who's back because they also exercised his 5th-year option, so you have that in your back pocket. And Morgan loves being on the Jets. He never wanted to leave the first time. And heading into the offseason, when's the last time we could say this? That the Jets offense line could be set and could be a strength for this team? Friggin' awesome. And for them to gain that continuity of we finally got this 5 now with Olu at left tackle, and then you build all offseason. We know who the starting 5 is going to be. No questions, no nothing. And then let's go to work, man. So, yeah, that part's incredibly exciting to me, the continuity that we could certainly have at offensive line. I'd love to bring Morgan back, and I think he'd love to come back too.
The other storyline I'm looking at here, and look, I guess there's really nothing he could do unless he just dominates to kind of change the narrative that it's been a bad season for him. But what does Sauce do over these last 6 weeks? All right. Can Sauce Gardner show something here? I still think he's a good player. I still think at times some of the criticism has been a little over the top. It's not like he's getting toasted every single game. You still looking at the coverage grades. He's right up there in top 10 in the league in all those categories. But he doesn't have any interceptions this year. He's missed some brutal tackles. Obviously, that has been the narrative surrounding him, and rightfully so. What does Sauce give us over these last 6 games? I want to see how he plays here down the stretch. I think that's an interesting storyline to follow.
Yeah, and really, I think what we're all waiting for is, and again, I'll have to count up the numbers after the show to see, because it's like 35 or 36 games since Sauce Gardner last had a pick, which is wild to think about. But maybe if he just gets that one pick, everyone, the tension and the air in the balloon just goes, Pillsbury Doughboy, woohoo! All of a sudden, it's out. Woo! Everything goes back down if Sauce just gets a 1 pick and he ends this embarrassing drought. Because it's like the Patriot drought. Like we had lost like 15 times or then we finally beat it. Now no one gives a shit anymore. Like he gets that pick, and to your point, he's been fine in the coverage grades of just like letting that go back. To me, that would be awesome. So let's get Sauce to get a pick. And to your point, show some pride for God's sakes. Like on some of these tackles, and I don't want any of this weak shit of like Sauce saying like, oh man, I'm a this built guy. That guy was bigger. I could do this. Like effort is what tackling is truly all about. It's effort, it's technique, but it's really just being willing to be a dog and go out there and hope your teammates come and help rally with you. It just seems like the effort has been lackadaisical, and people have just been kind of seeing that he doesn't look like he wants to get in there. He's not showing that, that want to. And I think that's part of the tackling process, too. So for me, again, I know a lot of people have opinions on this. I would not trade Sauce Gardner. First off, trading him this offseason would be crazy because it'd be at his lowest values. That doesn't make any sense. And I would try to see if Sauce can bounce back, because we talk about that premium position thing. Quarterback-driven league, cornerbacks are pretty important. You're about to lose DJ Reed. What, you're going to want to lose Sauce too? Then what the hell is your plan at corner? So let's try to rebuild the Sauce brand. There is more years of great from Sauce than bad years, if you want to perceive it this way, with this current season, which hasn't gone according to plan. I love Sauce. I know it's been a lot of shittiness this season, but I'm not giving up on Sauce.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live right now, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everyone supporting the Jake Asman and Boy Green YouTube channels. And what I want to do right now is gift a channel membership. So if you want a membership, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and you like this video and you have a chance to win. Ladies and gentlemen, the membership has been gifted. Let's get a bunch of memberships today. All the diehards are the ones who are still watching these shows at this point in the season with the team. 3-8, Boy Green. So let's do something nice for the people. One channel membership has officially been gifted. If you hear your name called, you are a channel member. Listener Sovesito is the recipient of the channel membership. If you want to gift the membership to your fellow Asmaniac for the holiday season, instead of hitting the super chat button with the money button, hit the button that says gift membership instead. All right, we'll open it up to your comments and questions, as always, on the show. Super Chats cut the line. Lee Epstein says, Jake, I emailed you about tickets I'm giving away. Lee, thank you. For anyone who has extra tickets for the Jets-Seahawks game tomorrow and you're not using them, I have a bunch of Jet fans who want to use them, who want to go, maybe take someone to their first game. Maybe they can't normally afford to go to a game, so this is an opportunity for them to go. So if you have any extra tickets, as always, you could send them to me, and I'll distribute them to fellow Jet fans. So my email is in the description for the video, but it's asmanjake@gmail if you want to transfer any extra tickets some of you might have. I know it's going to be a cold day, so maybe just the diehards will be in the building tomorrow, more green.
Hey, I love it for everything that you just said. Tickets are dirt cheap right now for a lot of these Jet games, and really it's about the experience. Wow, more people have extra tickets, so go ahead and send them again to Jake Asman's email. I see your Curly Norman down there. To me, it's the experience. Week 3, while it was cool for the Jets to kick the Patriots' ass, that was awesome. But it was the experience. It was hanging out with all the fans in the parking lot and, getting to enjoy the atmosphere, the food, the drink, the fans, and the jersey burning and everything in L5 and all you wonderful, awesome people. To me, it's the experience. I hope you guys all get an opportunity to go. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, baby, sign up. Yeah, reach out to Jake if you have interest. And if you have extra tickets, send them in. Yeah, I love going to Jet games every year.
25 with a super chat. Thoughts if we don't draft a quarterback this year?
Well, I would say that it's not the worst thing in the world. I heard, who was it? I think it was Lance Zierlein, one of your fellow boys back from your Houston days down there, Jake. I'm pretty sure he talked with like an NFL executive that said, man, some of these quarterbacks are going to get people fired. Like in the future, basically, because the quarterback class isn't great, but someone's going to reach because they need a quarterback, and then those quarterbacks won't perform well. I think there's a great case to be made if you're the Jets. You get and here's just a random example, Mason Graham. You plug him next to Quinnen Williams. You keep building this thing up. Tyrod Taylor is your bridge. You have Jordan Travis, hopefully, who continues to get healthy, which everything we're hearing, it sounds like it's going to take a while for him to get back on the football field. So hopefully he returns in the near future, not for this season, but for future to see what he can do and ride it out. And if you're in the quarterback dipping pool, which would be 2026, then so be it. I don't want the Jets to force a square peg into a round hole and we just say, let's say the Jets end up at 6 where they currently are. We're just taking any random quarterback because we need one. That's how the Jets stay in this shit show. They need to build it from the ground up. I would love some trench warfare. The offensive line seems set with what it is, so let's go to defense then, if need be, and get just a blue chip player. Give me a badass player. I don't give a shit about the position. So defensive tackle, awesome. Let's get another one next to Quinnen Williams. So I don't think we have to. If it's right and the Jets lose out or something, they end up with the 2nd or 3rd overall pick. We're talking Cam Ward. Okay, I could get excited about Cam Ward, but if we don't, I don't think it's the end of the world.
I look at it like this. If there's a quarterback they love, you could take that guy in the first round. If there's not someone you love, don't force it. And if there's a quarterback who maybe they don't think is worthy of a top 10 pick, why not try and trade back into the end of the first round? So then you get the 5th-year option. You do what the Packers do with Jordan Love. You do what the Ravens even did with Lamar Jackson. Correct. But I said this on the radio yesterday, and I'll say this a lot, I'm sure, in the offseason when this is debated. Whoever they draft, if they draft a quarterback in round 1 or early round 2, whatever, they should not play right away.
Develop, yes.
Develop. The last time the Jets sat a quarterback they took high in the draft was Pennington, and it worked. They should try that again. I think there's a difference in playing right away if you're in Houston or you're in Washington or you're wherever than there is if you're playing right away and you're the quarterback of the Jets. I just think there's a different level of scrutiny, pressure. I don't think you want to start a rookie right away under any circumstance next year. They should have a bridge, whether it's Rodgers or Tyrod or whoever, be the quarterback, and if there is a rookie on this team, which I expect there will be, that guy should not be playing right away.
And I love the great offensive infrastructure where we bring, again, either our head coaches of offensive mind or we just have a really nice offensive staff around so they can, to your point, just develop and really go through the process because, you're bringing up Chad Pennington examples. We're talking about the early 2000s, for God's sakes. It's been a long-ass time since we've had that kind of plan. That was 25 years ago when old Chad Pennington was drafted in that 2000 draft. So, I mean, shoot, we need all the love we could get. And some of that love to me is developing. So if we do take a quarterback, absolutely, couldn't agree more. Let's develop him. Let's allow him to go through the process properly.
Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are presented today by the hat you see on my head. Huga House. They're running an awesome Black Friday deal right now. They got a bunch of brand new hats. Get the hat that I'm wearing, Aaron Rodgers is wearing, any of their winter hats, shirts. They have it all. Promo code Asman at checkout saves you 15%, but if you buy more than one item, it's 30% off.
Wow.
HugaHouse.com, promo code Asman, so you could save big and get yourself some new headgear ahead of the holiday season. All right,
Jake,
we'll take some
can you
calls
confirm this real quick?
Yes, sir.
Did Aaron Rodgers see you wearing the hat and said, that's kind of trendy. I'm going to start wearing the hat because I've
exactly
heard those
what
whispers.
happened.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought. Okay. I want to confirm.
Yep, you nailed it. Boy Green, while I have you here, we'll get to the calls coming up. Load up the Gusbuster hotline. We'll take your calls. Your thoughts on the 33rd team being involved in the hiring process, a.k.a. Mike Tannenbaum, who I spoke to yesterday on the radio, and Rick Spielman, who obviously assisted with the process in Washington a year ago.
Oh, I got to go back and listen to that. I missed that you talked to Tannenbaum. So I'd love to go back and hear that. And I put out a request to see if we could get a Spielman on the show to see if he could share any more thoughts, because I heard his 15-plus minute podcast about it. To me, I know there's been a lot of jokes about the Tannenbaum ESPN trade proposals that we see every day on Get Up and stuff of that nature. It should be clear that neither Spielman or Tannenbaum is making the final decision. They're providing data, insights, analysis, all their connections that they're unloading and giving to the Jets. I think it can only help, quite frankly. I think we've all been pounding the table like Woody, like get other football people in the room, and we can make whatever jokes we want to about Tannenbaum or Spielman or what have you on their draft picks here, there, or the other where. But combined, they have 55 years of NFL experience. Hey, that should only help make a more informed decision for Woody Johnson. And shoot, the Jets need as much help as they can get. So I'm all aboard. I know it's a bit headline grabbing that it's a 33rd team, this perceived media company, but really what the Jets are doing, I would look past the 33rd team thing. It's the people that are running this operation, which is Tannenbaum as the lead and Spielman in the support role. And the Jets specifically requested Spielman on top of what Tannenbaum is going to be offering as well. So I think that kind of additional information can only help. I hope it brings the Jets to making sure that they truly vet all these candidates, turn over every rock, don't go through this process. And according to Peter Schrager, who talked with Joe Caparosa, the Jets are not going into this with a preconceived notion. They have one guy on their list, and they're going through the process just for shits and giggles, but they're always going to hire this guy. It sounds like they're open-minded going through this process, which is what I want the Jets to do. So I know it caught a lot of headlines and got a lot of laughs, but to me, I think it was the right choice for Woody to have this kind of information available. Why not? And Tannenbaum, for all the jokes, he knows the market. He had the job, and he's been around this Jets team forever, and I'm sure he wants the Jets to get it right. So that's like an internal motivation on top of everything else, and he knows Woody incredibly well. So I love it. Absolutely more the merrier, and hopefully it doesn't stop here.
We interrupt this show to send someone to Stupid Town. Yo Holmes writes in, Jordan Travis was one of the worst draft picks of Joke Douglas's career. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all, folks.
F you. F you. F you too.
The only joke is Yo Holmes, who has some of the dumbest comments I've seen since I started doing this YouTube show about 4 seasons ago. We have no idea what Jordan Travis is. He was a 5th-round pick. It was a dart throw. We'll find out if they hit on that dart throw. Maybe next year, maybe never. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure if we look back, if we have like a YouTube search comment history, Yo Holmes probably said that about Will McDonald. And look at Will McDonald now. Now, in all fairness, Will McDonald hasn't had a sack since Hassan Reddick came over, which is wild because I thought that would have helped Will McDonald to add even more statistics to the pile here. But come on, man. We haven't seen Jordan Travis. I'm fine. If Jordan Travis ends up being nothing, like we never see him ever again, I still think it was a good move by the Jets. If I was running the ship, I'd draft a quarterback every friggin' year.
Right. There's no reason not to.
Keep whacking the tree. Throw. Yes, absolutely. What do you have to lose? And he was a late 5th-round pick because of the injury, which, again, to the Jets, who boasted the oldest quarterback room in football, you didn't need Jordan Travis this year anyway. If Jordan Travis was playing, that was bad news. That means Aaron Rodgers' Achilles exploded again. That means Tyrod was hurt or something. Like, for Jordan Travis to have gotten on the field would have been bad news for other things. So to say it's a worst draft pick ever, I mean, that just seems bonkers, hyperbole.
Yo Holmes is also the dude who called the Jets Super Bowl win fixed. So I feel even better about that decision to throw him in Stupid Town. Matthew Smith writes in, bring in Zach Wilson. He's the 3rd quarterback on a good Broncos team, former 2nd overall pick, great arm talent, needs an O-line and good coaching, would be a real stud. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Smith, thank you for the time. Your day is done.
How'd you like to play some football? Football. Yeah, would you like that? Report to the practice field tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
I know Matthew Smith is not serious, so we'll just time him out for 5 minutes instead
Okay.
of a full show. Anyway, hit the like button if you're tuning in. Let's get to some calls here coming up. Gusbuster Hotline is open. First up today is the great Connor Long. Hello, Connor.
Jake, BG, how you guys doing?
Hey, look at Connor. Look at that young buck. Look at you.
Is that a Joe Tipman jersey, Connor?
Tip right here, Joe Tipman jersey.
I love it.
Oh, great. Yeah, he was on the Jake Asman show. Yeah, before the
Jake
year.
Asman
Yeah,
show. Someone
Dippy.
else who was on the Jake Asman show on ESPN New York, Mike Tannenbaum, yesterday. Jake,
Mm-hmm.
I know he texted, but again, great job on that interview. Some really insightful.
He really gave us a lot there. It was like pulling teeth to get some stuff.
No, you did a great job of pushing Rex on him, because at first he kind of,
He
he
talked
mentioned
around it. Yeah.
Yeah, he avoided the question kind of, but you kept pushing on him. What I thought was a great job. Something to keep in mind. I have a note here, and then I have a question for you guys. Spielman, who helped spearhead the Commanders search last offseason, something to keep in mind. They fired everyone on January 8th last season, so they started to move quickly. Then they hired Adam Peters as their general manager on January 12th. So I think what we should expect here is a quick moving process. I know we're still in the early stages. The 33rd team was just hired on Monday, and now still 6 games left in the regular season. But once the season ends, I expect this group to move quickly. My question for you guys is, I saw a mock draft that Bleacher Report put out today. I know you guys were talking about quarterbacks. They had the Jets selecting Jalen Milroe with the 7th overall pick. If that happened, what would your guys' emotions be like?
I mean, again, I'm kind of, Jake said it earlier with the new regime. If they love the guy, then I'll trust the new regime coming in. So if they deem him, oh, wow, this is a franchise quarterback, we're going to develop this guy, then I'm like, oh, God bless. Okay, wonderful. If that's what they believe it is. So, I'm fine with if the regime looks at the quarterback class and goes, oh, boy, this group sucks. Then let's go get some other players for Pete's sake, or trade out and allow some other boob to trade up and get Jalen Milroe. To me, it's on the regime. If they believe in it, I'm cool with it. Let's go. If they don't, then I'm cool with that too. So that's probably I just Tannenbaum that. Yeah, that's a new verb. I'm going to dodge a question. I'm going to avoid the answer. But that's mine. Jake?
I am on board with a quarterback as long as that regime believes in the guy. I don't think you just draft someone for the sake of drafting someone. So they're going to have to answer that question on how confident they are in taking a quarterback potentially that high.
And now one more thing before I hop off here. I think Ian Cunningham is going to be the general manager of this team next season.
The Bears guy. Okay.
Really, really young assistant general manager for the Bears right now. He was a front runner for the Commanders job last offseason. Again, that Spielman helped run. So I think when all is said and done, it's either going to be Cunningham. I think it will be Cunningham, but another name to look out for, Will McClay of the Dallas Cowboys. I see you there, BG. You've been talking about
my boy. Yes.
on your morning show these past few days. He's someone who's he's been trying to get an opportunity the past few years. I think this is the year we get a GM opportunity. I've said it before, though. Ideally, John Dorsey is my number one option right now from the Detroit Lions, senior personnel executive, 56 and 55 as a GM in his career. I'm a big fan of him, but like I said, I think it's either Cunningham or McClay, who's the general manager of this team next season. And then for head coach, I think we're looking at a Brian Flores, a Cliff Kingsbury, something like that. Those are 2 names I look out for. But appreciate you guys. Great stuff, and keep it up as always.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Connor Long checking in. I can't wait to read Connor's story on Jets X Factor. All about the Mike Tannenbaum interview we had on the radio yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank is back. Frank is a professional troll. He says, Jake, you have constantly overrated every player on this team. The only person that plays with my heart on defense is Quincy Williams. Well, I didn't know, Frank, that you had a lot of heart. Frank, thanks for the time. Thank you, Frank. The other comment Frank said is that I wanted to pay Sauce Gardner and make him the highest paid corner in the league. I never have said that. All I have said about Sauce is I would not trade him when his value is low. I would not extend him. We even opened up this very video talking about how the only guy we would definitely extend with the new regime is Garrett Wilson. So please listen next time, Frank, and you won't be sent to Stupid Town immediately.
Yeah, I would say I definitely said that for Sauce last year. Heading into the season, I said Sauce is going to be the highest paid corner. Whoever is on top of the time, Sauce getting a penny more than that guy. Now, obviously, I don't feel that way from a negotiation standpoint. I don't believe Sauce has the right to ask for that, nor should the Jets pay that. So we'll see. Again, if Sauce demands money this offseason, it might work out for the Jets because I think he's going to get a lot less than he would have otherwise.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. More importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're one of the diehard Jet fans out there. Appreciate everyone who continues to support this show. Let's take more of your calls right now as we're hanging out with Boy Green, who joins us every week on the channel. Let's say hello to the great JJ, who's next. JJ, how are you?
How are you guys doing?
Great, man.
I can't take this anymore. Can we please stop just praising and accepting everything the Jets do? Like, them hiring the 33rd team is stupid to me. I don't understand why you guys think that it's such a, oh my God, this is a great decision. Mike Tannenbaum should be nowhere near this team anymore. He ruined us. All right. In last years of him being the GM, he ruined us. Stupid decision after stupid decision. And then we act like the Washington Commanders did something special. I was sitting on this show telling you guys, hire Dan Quinn, fire Robert Saleh, and get us Dan Quinn. And Jake was the one who was saying Dan Quinn did absolutely nothing after Shanahan left. I said, listen, at least he's the one who hired Shanahan. At the end of the day, he knows he knows who to hire for his offense as a coach, and he did it again. He went and got Cliff Kingsbury, and the GM was just with the team that went to the Super Bowl. The assistant manager, what is his name? Adam Peters. He was just with the San Francisco 49ers, who have talent all over the place. I mean, he should have been the obvious pick for the general managers of the Washington Commanders. So the Spilbin, whatever his name is, Spilbin guy, I don't think he did anything out of the ordinary. He just went and got the two best candidates he could. Right now, all we have to do, go hire Ray Agnew from Detroit Lions, who clearly have one of the best rosters, and he's been there for the last 4 years, and then go hire Mike Vrabel. It's that simple. Get the heck out of here with the Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan hasn't been in the league for, 10 plus years? John Gruden hasn't been in the league for how many years? And when he was in the league, he sucked. The Raiders sucked. So I don't understand why we want to go backwards as a franchise so much. Like, I really don't get it. There's so many quality candidates out there. We're talking about hire this guy, hire that guy. Listen, why would we get John Dorsey when we can get Ray Agnew? That makes no sense to me.
Well, we got to make sure that what Agnew's role fits being the GM. Like, no one, like, it's easy with a coach. It's like always the offensive coordinator, he's the defensive coordinator. But when you hear assistant GMs, there's a lot of different roles inside an organization for a GM. So you're basically just relying on these guys to help vet some of the candidates, JJ. Wouldn't you agree that it's better to have some football people advising Woody than it is to have just Woody flying by the seat of his pants? Plus, I think to make the job more attractive, you want to have football people in the room, because if you're Mike Tannenbaum and you've been on the record saying Woody Johnson has never once meddled when you were with the organization for 16 years, including 7 as the GM, that can maybe help sell a potential GM and coaching candidate on, hey, you're going to have the autonomy to do your job. Trust me, I've worked with these guys. If you do your job, you're going to have a chance to not have to worry about ownership meddling. I see what you're saying, right? Tannenbaum, at the end of his tenure was not great, but he's also the most successful GM the franchise has had over the last 25 years. He hired 2 coaches that went to the playoffs. They had a winning record of well over 100 games. I think I can't sit here and say it's a great move or it's a bad move. I think it's a move you wait and see, but I'd rather Woody have some people around him who have made smart decisions before than him trying to do it himself.
But the only thing that's in it for Mike Tannenbaum is pushing his 33rd team to be the next, advisory team of the NFL. Help
right,
people.
So he's motivated to do a good job. Otherwise, it looks bad for his company.
He is motivated to do a good job, but I don't want my football team that I love to be the guinea pig for the 33rd team. That's why you're not
really the guinea pig. Washington hired Rick Spielman as a consultant. The 33rd team is just the branding for them being consultants. If they have just announced they hired Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman as consultants, I don't know if your reaction would be what it is. It's just you're bringing in football people to help.
It would, because I don't want Mike Tannenbaum to have anything to do with this team. We saw what he did in Miami. As soon as he left the Jets and he went to Miami, he got worse as a GM.
They made the playoffs his first year.
And he's not making the hire. Mike Tannenbaum is not hiring the next GM of the Jets, and neither is Spielman.
Neither of them are hiring, but if Woody Johnson, right, needs people to come in and say, hey, this is who we think you should hire, then essentially he is hiring because he's the one who's going to bring Woody Johnson the candidates and vet the candidates for Woody Johnson and say, hey, my number 1 guy is this, my number 2 guy is that, and my number 3 guy is that. I don't want, and maybe, it's the semantics of it, but I don't want Mike Tannenbaum around the team at all. Look at what he says on ESPN, and it's hard for me to think to myself he's just being, a sports broadcaster and trying to be, stand out there with his hot takes. No, this is what this guy really believes as a GM. How do we know? Because just look at his record as a GM after the success that the team had. And at the end of the day, man, these people haven't been in football for a long time. Yes, he's on ESPN, but he's not in the locker room. He's not doing anything. So there's so many other ways we could have went about this. My biggest issue with it is I don't want Mike Tannenbaum around the team anymore. I don't. And call me crazy, but I just don't. He had his chance. He blew it. Now we want the failed GM, who was a failed GM with us, to now hire our new GM or help hire our new GM. How does that make sense?
Because he's been in the chair before. He understands the New York media market. He's worked for the Johnson family. I think you're making way too much of what Tannenbaum says on TV versus him being able to vet qualified candidates. He has a track record of hiring successful coaches. He also has done the job at a high level. And the guy he's bringing in to assist in the advisory role here is Rick Spielman, who last year vetted a lot of the same candidates the Jets are going to be talking to this time around. So it's just they're information gatherers, and ultimately it's on Woody to make the right hires here. But I want to arm Woody Johnson with the most amount of quality info as possible so he hopefully gets it right.
Rex Ryan, and I'm sorry, you guys, get your thumbs ready to chat in the chat. Rex Ryan is not a successful head coach. All right, he only had 2 winning seasons. Adam Gase is not a successful head coach.
Oh, wait a second. You're now going to try and nitpick Tannenbaum hiring Rex?
Rex Ryan is not a successful head coach. He's not.
Stop it.
In his
Stop
tenure,
it. He's the second best coach in the franchise's history.
That doesn't make him a successful head coach.
He was successful.
He has a losing.
He went 8-8 with rookie
record?
year. He went 8-8 with rookie year Geno Smith.
Overall, he has a losing record. True or false?
True, but is that all on Rex, or is that more on the fact that Woody Johnson fired Tannenbaum, brought in John Izek, who was trying to dismantle the team so he could hire his own coach?
No, because when he went to Buffalo, he still had a losing record.
One game under 500 in Buffalo with Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback. Has Rex ever had a great quarterback?
Okay, Rex Ryan told us, and I think I told you guys this before. Rex Ryan told us when he first got to Buffalo that he wanted Tyrod Taylor for the Jets. He thought Tyrod Taylor was really good. And when he started winning a couple of games, he was gloating and boasting about, I told Mike Tannenbaum to bring in Tyrod. And then as soon as the season was over and he got fired in the second year, he was like, I never had a quarterback. And anywhere I was, I never had a quarterback. Mark Sanchez wasn't that bad. I'm sorry to tell you. He wasn't that bad of a quarterback.
He wasn't that good, though. He was average at best.
Yeah, and you look around the league, and Mike Tomlin, if you look at a guy like Mike Tomlin, who's had average quarterback play.
Rex Ryan is not a Hall of Fame head coach. I got it, JJ. He's not Mike Tomlin.
He's not a Hall of Fame head coach, and he's not a successful head coach. And if he was a successful head coach, he would have interviews right now. He can't even get a defensive coordinator job.
I mean, JJ, him getting a second opportunity to be a head coach tells you that he was viewed as a successful coach his first go around with the Jets. You don't get a second opportunity.
Everybody gets pretty much.
No, not
Adam
everybody.
Gase got a second. Adam Gase got a second chance.
Yeah, but that's because the Jets are stupid, not because he never should have been hired.
And so were the Buffalo Bills when they hired Rex Ryan, and that's why they got rid of him. And then they hired what was it? John? What was the guy's name? He ended up going to Jacksonville. What was his name?
Doug Marrone.
Yeah, hired him. He led them to the playoffs, I believe. And then he left. The guy who took over after Rex.
Doug Marrone.
Yeah, didn't he go to the? No. I'm talking about in Buffalo.
John Izek was an assistant GM for the Jaguars. He was not running the show. He was their salary cap guy.
No, hold on. I'm saying after Rex Ryan got fired in Buffalo, they hired Doug Marrone, whatever his name was. Did he not take them to the playoffs? I know he had a winning record. I'm pretty sure he took them to the playoffs.
I don't think they made the playoffs, but I'll double check that to have it for you.
Double check, but I'm pretty sure
was the coach when they went to the AFC title game with Blake Bortles.
Yes, I know, but he also was in Buffalo for 1 year right after Rex Ryan, and he did a way better job than Rex Ryan did in his 1 year in Buffalo, is what I'm trying to tell you.
I think he won 8 games.
So he went, let me see, make sure I have this right here. Yeah, he went 6-10 and 9-7 in his 2 years in Buffalo.
Yeah.
9-7, and I'm pretty sure that 9-7 year didn't they make the playoffs as a
No,
wild
they
card?
did
I
not.
could be wrong.
They did not make the playoffs.
Okay.
No, they did.
Well, he
Also,
he ended up leaving.
JJ,
Yes.
why are we debating the merits of Rex Ryan? I don't think he's going to end up getting the job. So I don't understand. You could criticize Mike Tannenbaum for how his tenure ended. Hiring Mangini, hiring Rex is a sign that he's been able to identify coaches that could win and get a team to the playoffs. So I really don't want to hear it. That you could knock Tannenbaum for other things. First off, what he's doing with the Jets is not being the GM of the team. He's in an advisory role. I think you are completely overreacting to his role in all this. The idea that this is somehow a negative when Woody Johnson gets ripped for being a meddling owner and not knowing football, and then he brings in 2 football people to assist him with this process, I think is very hypocritical.
By the way, real quick, after Rex Ryan left, they hired Sean McDermott. So Doug Marrone was before Rex Ryan, and then they went to Rex Ryan, and then after Ryan, they went to Sean McDermott.
JJ, here's what I need you to do: sing along.
Oh yeah, you know what time it is. You tried to throw him away, but this man's coming back. Sometimes he's fat or thin. That waistband makes him slim. He's got the fix you need. They call him sexy, Rexy.
Fuck Gruden, he's no Jet. I'm here to crack some skulls. I'll turn these boys to men. This team is stacked with pros. Hire me, won't break your purse. I'm here to break the curse. They call me sexy, Rexy. Fuck all you naysayers.
Ooh, sexy. Ooh, he's sexy, Rexy, sexy. Ooh, he's sexy, Rexy, sexy. Ooh, he's sexy, Rexy, sexy. He's sexy, Rexy.
Yeah. Look, I don't think Rex is getting the job, but I will say this, Boy Green.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get an interview, which I'm okay with.
Too.
I'd be curious of who his offensive staff would be and all that. But the other thing that I believe bringing in Tannenbaum assists with, if you want Agnew, if you want Vrabel, having someone in the room who's worked for the Johnson family could be helpful in trying to convince these people to actually be willing to consider the Jets. Because if they're not there, the narrative is Woody Meadows is a bad owner. You don't want to work for him. I think having someone who was there for 16 years, who's worked for Woody Johnson and is going to be advocating for these guys on his behalf is a helpful tool to try and get these people like a Mike Vrabel, let's say, to take this job.
Yeah, I also don't get JJ trying to denigrate So the Washington Commanders sucked for a long time. They haven't been Super Bowl champions since we're talking about back in the 90s, 80s days. And they hired Dan Quinn, who was coming off the wild card, horrible loss to the Green Bay Packers. And he had to answer for that in his introductory press conference. And Adam Peters, a 49ers guy. 49ers guys have been hired before that have sucked. So making it seem like this was this obvious hire and the 33rd team / Rick Spielman did nothing. He just hired the obvious guys. That seems like a interesting way to try to deflect the success that Washington has had and just say, well, that doesn't count because they were obvious hires. Come on. How can it not help to have these people in the room? Mike Tannenbaum and Spielman are not making the hires. I agree. I think what JJ is doing is just overreacting to ESPN talking head Mike Tannenbaum versus the guy that could be in the room. And I think to your point that it will only help to have someone who's been there with Woody before and said, oh, he didn't meddle with this. And my own reputation's on the line. He is more incentivized than ever to deliver for the Jets.
Yeah, and also like the idea that Rex only had 2 good seasons, like I'd argue 2013 going 8-8 with that team, that roster is a damn good coaching job by Rex Ryan. Come on now.
And by the way, if we're going to say, oh, Rex Ryan's not a successful coach, how is Mark Sanchez a successful quarterback? In that rookie year that they went to the AFC Championship game, he had 12 touchdowns, 20 picks. We're gonna spot check. JJ is going to say, well, Mark Sanchez were good, but Rex Ryan wasn't. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I mean, Rex is a damn good coach. It didn't end great with the 4-12 season. But let's not act like Rex Ryan hasn't had more success to basically every coach in this franchise's history besides Weeb Eubank.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, we said it, head coaches do not just get second whacks of the pinata automatically because they were the first time. That is a ridiculous thing to say. Rex Ryan got another chance because of what the Jets were able to do with those AFC Championship games, and they saw what he did at his peak. And again, the Jets are idiots with Adam Gase, so I don't know if I'd use that for the argument of guys getting another whack. Like, come on now.
Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. Austrian Jet fan with a super chat, As Maniac and Boy Green Mania rock. Austria Jet fan, thank you, sir. Now, we got to break down the tape. Yesterday, I was on the radio, and Bobby Midnight called in to the Michael K show that I was hosting with Ty Butler.
Absolutely. 800-919-3776. Look at that. We gave a shout out to the Asmaniacs, and now we have one on the line. Let's go to Vermont and hit up Bob. What's up, Bobby? Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Bobby.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Bobby, I'm doing great.
Didn't I talk to this guy before? I think he's a funny guy.
You love Ty Butler.
Yeah, I talked to him before, remember?
I'm sure you have. Yeah, he's a big fan of yours.
What's up, Bobby?
Oh, he is? Yeah, I'm a big fan of you, too. You play for the, what team, Jets, you said?
That I play for the Jets?
What team do you play for?
That I currently play for?
Yeah.
I'm the left tackle
Well,
I'm the left tackle for the New York Jets.
Oh, you are the left tackle for the New York Jets?
He
Yes,
is,
I
yep.
am.
All right. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'm a big Jet fan. So I think hopefully they're going to win this weekend because I'm going to the game this weekend. They're going to kidnap me to go down.
They're going to kidnap
they
you.
tell me what. No, they tell me what time they're picking me up. 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm going to be. It's going to be cold that game that weekend. I think they're going to win.
You think they're going to beat Seattle this weekend? Well, look, appreciate the call, Bob. So my question would be, Jake, if the game's at 1 o'clock, why are you getting picked up at 5 a.m.?
Well, he's in Vermont. It's a far hike from Vermont to MetLife Stadium. You got to leave at 5 in the morning for a 1 o'clock kickoff.
Bobby Midnight, everyone. Bobby Midnight.
Ty Butler, Tyron Smith. Yeah, Ty is short for Tyron. That makes sense.
Organized kidnapping. Incredible.
Man, and that was on ESPN Radio, too. Terrific.
Oh, man. Super chat from JJ. He says, I never said Mark Sanchez was a good quarterback. I said he wasn't as bad as you guys made him out to be. I said he was average to below average, JJ. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Rex sucked. You guys are addicted to mediocrity. The idea that Rex sucked is crazy to me, but okay, JJ. I mean, also, the Jets have not won 8 or more games in a season since 2015. Rex Ryan did it with rookie year Geno Smith in a way worse roster than this roster is currently for the Jets in 2013. Give me a break.
Yeah, I just I don't understand where JJ's coming from. Different strokes, I guess.
Also, JJ says the fact that you guys would consider John Gruden and Rex when you have Vrabel, Ben Johnson, possibly Coach Prime, Aaron Glenn, Todd Monken, etc. We're just saying they might be candidates, JJ. Mike Vrabel has been my number one choice. You clearly don't listen to the show. If you're even insinuating I would rather have Gruden or Rex over Mike Vrabel. My order consistently has been experience, and it has been Mike Vrabel, Brian Flores, and if fired, he moves to number one on my list, Kevin Stefanski. I've said for a while that's my top 3. I also would heavily consider Pete Carroll if he were interested and maybe changing the culture and coming on board for a couple of years and trying to get this franchise back on track.
Yeah, he's a little older, so I'm probably a bit of an ageist there. But if he would take some over czar role, then I wouldn't give a shit about the age because, again, his wisdom and all that would be helpful. My top 3 are Todd Monken, Mike Vrabel, and Ben Johnson in that order. So, yeah, give it to me, baby. But I think what we're all doing as content creators is we're going through all the possibilities. We have extra time because, Robert Saleh was fired when he was. So we're going through every possibility that could happen. And there is Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Prime, I guess if he's jumping to the NFL, Aaron Glenn. I think it's healthy to go through all the options so we don't have a rave mentality. We're all going the same guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get an eyewitness account on the state of the Jets. Let's say hello to David, who joins us now. What's up, David?
Hi, Jake and Paul, two very highly trained professionals at this point, and I just want to give a shout out to the young man Connor Long. I sense he has a nice career ahead of him.
I sense that too. Yeah.
Take our jobs.
Yeah.
No, he won't take your job, but he's gonna give you good competition, Paul. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. There's no I in team.
Right. I'm calling. JJ is a very smart man, and I wish I had that much passion and energy. I'm 68 now, but anyway, the one point I do agree with him. The Tannenbaum and Spielman, but I do agree. With the 33 thing. and I did listen to your radio show yesterday with Tannenbaum, and yes, Jake, it was like pulling teeth, but he's okay, but the fact that Spielman's there, and I know a couple weeks you played a clip, Spielman on what he does and everything. So I just think it's good. I mean, them working together and hopefully Spielman will bring more to the table. And as far as Rex Ryan goes, I just felt before they did this 33 thing, Woody needs help, and if he was going to go on the fly, maybe the decision to hire Rex would have been the thing to do, rather than him coming out with another Adam Gaze or whatever.
Hey, David, quick question. Who do you have your eye on this cycle? For coaches or GMs or anything? Yeah, who do you have your eye on?
Well, actually, between you and Nick, I've listened to who you guys like and suggest. As far as general manager thing,
man, his internet was just acting up at the end there. But
it was chop it up.
I wanted to know who he had his eye on as well.
As did I. First eye account, eyewitness. That was good.
David, one of the greats.
Yeah. Salute to David.
We're working on a new emoji for David specifically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Joe Mike has put it together. I need to check how many channel members we need to get it live. But I think I think we're about, I think we were like 15 or 16 away. I'll check that shortly. But I want to get your thoughts on the emoji here. So I'm going to pull it up and we'll get to our next call while I get that ready for your feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gusbuster hotline is quite simply one of the all-time greats.
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he's not on the toilet.
Hello, V-Man.
What's up? Yeah, what's up, Jay? What's up, Jay? Fall boy, how you doing?
I'm good. I saw you were cooking the other day on the Jake Asman show, doing some Thanksgiving action. I saw that. Very nice.
Yeah, I was just doing just the prep work because it has to marinate for a couple days before you want it, because we don't eat. My family's not a big turkey family.
Oh, how was it? Was it a big success at the Thanksgiving table?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
That's good.
Yeah, no. Then I'll look into these last weeks. Just finally, just like honestly, when I look into these last weeks, I'm just hoping to get this season over with. Obviously, I want to see the young talent show off. With what I want to see with the Jets going forward, like coach wise, like I said, I'm more towards the experienced head coach. I want a guy who's going to help set a foundation here that's going to be that that could last beyond their tenure. A cultural foundation that could last potentially beyond their tenure. So I look towards what's his name? Why am my brain farting on his name right now? Former Titans coach. Why am I brain farting on
Mike
the name?
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. I like a Mike Vrabel type. I think that one's probably top on my list right now.
It's a good name. I like that. Former head coach. Yeah. AFC Championship game with Ryan Tannehill. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very good. So
Hector called you a fake Puerto Rican.
Oh, yeah, you serious? Come on, you serious about this? Can we get beyond this beef, Hector? Like, this is like, dude, I make penne, I make arroz con honduras, I've made mofongo, My God, I cook. Like, for crying out loud, I have a quattro. I'm thinking about getting a barril de bomba and a plena drum. So can we get beyond this? All right, so let's actually get talking back on football. How did you guys enjoy the Thanksgiving slate of games?
I'll watch any football that's going on, but yeah, it was tough.
Well, I was laughing at the Lions Bears game. That was just comedy.
It was brutal
at the end.
That was worse than things I've seen with the Jets this year.
I don't think even Salah could have messed up the clock in that situation.
What's
It's
on
just
the agenda
ridiculous.
today, V-Man?
What?
What's on the agenda today?
Well, I'm just right now in my grandparents' old house. We're kicking out the tenants who haven't paid rent since the Obama administration.
Wow.
It's okay.
It's Section 8, so yeah, don't. Best advice: don't deal with, when you're renting out an apartment. Don't rent out. Avoid those if you can.
That's good advice. Okay.
Thank you, V-Man.
You know, yeah. So I'm right here with my mom, my sister, and my other uncle. We're just gonna do some stuff around, clean up some more stuff, and hopefully they'll get out and not try to do anything stupid on the way out.
Like what?
Well, there's a long list of things they could do to just try to spite us, because they have.
Such as?
Oh, like probably trash the upstairs. Sabotage the plumbing. Fuck with the wiring. Things like that.
Oh, jeez. Good Lord.
That's the end of that V-Man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
It's always an adventure with V-Man.
Well, that's for sure. Wow.
Now, Boy Green, I just checked 14 more memberships. We could add the David eyeball emoji. If anyone wants to make this a reality, this is from Joe Mike, who emailed me this yesterday.
That should be on a T-shirt in the Jake Asman shop. That is
14 memberships, so this is a new emoji that will be added. 14.
Oh,
so we're working towards it. Let's check back in with David. David, how are you?
Can you hear me, Jake?
We can't see you, but we can hear you, I believe.
Okay, that's good enough because I'm trying to get back and I'm kind of getting an echo, but it seems like it's cleared up now. And I won't hold you on long, but
what do you think of your emoji?
You know what? I didn't. You know what? It flat and then the picture flashed back to the, your what to watch for. So I didn't see it yet, but I will. Believe me. I'm not quite sure what it looks like, but
What? David?
What?
David? 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 Damn.
R.I.P.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Kent just made it where we only now need 9 more channel members.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rick Kent.
Money, 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 money.
David moving the chains, baby. Here we go. SJ345, generic YouTube name here. Mint Diggity, Aaron35, and Jake, great name, all receiving channel memberships. Hit the Rick Kent emoji, as we're just 9 members away from the David Edgemo being added to the arsenal. Incredible.
I love that.
All right, more of your calls here. Unless you got I know we said an hour, Boy Green, so if you got to run, feel free. I do have one legendary caller on the line who's a big fan.
Okay, then I will take that one more caller.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the great Dave Brigga's next. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen?
Hey, good to see you, pal.
Good to see you, fellas. The David emoji is quite the thing. Very, very interesting. He's a close-up character. Anyway,
he's gonna have to step away from his phone to see it, though. He's a little too close.
Yeah, I just watched that Seinfeld episode of Too Close Guy. Yeah, so yeah.
But a close talker, was that the close talker?
Yeah, close talker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, in the midst of this disastrous season, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We get this is off the subject of the the search, the GM search. But this take of Yo Holmes has really disturbed me. In the midst of our pain this season, we have to hear that he's claiming that our Super Bowl is fixed. He has no evidence. And I asked him to come on when I chatted with him on your show, Paul.
Yes,
I said, come on, let's talk about it. Let's see the evidence. This is such a disgrace to our former players, both dead and alive, to say that.
Mm-hmm.
They have no, Bubba Smith wrote the book, and even Don Shula is totally inaccurate, trying to claim fixing so he can sell his books. And the merger was already set in stone in 1966. The Jets didn't have to win that game for the merger to be, to come into fruition. So these takes of his are just, he won't come on and defend himself. He said, "Why should I come on to please me?" Well, he doesn't please me. I'm trying to defend our players, who we have a lot of guys that are dead and buried from that team that won the Super Bowl. So okay, Jimmy, what's his name? Earl Morrall missed a wide open Jimmy Orr. So they're he's trying to claim that. And they had 4 interceptions in that game. McCall's they just played a bad game. If that's the Jets offensive line did a tremendous job during that game. So I just want, do you guys have anything to put to that? I mean, I saw the game, I saw the tapes. I mean, I was there. I didn't go to the game personally, but my good friend and I, who became Jet fans, and by the way, there's this take that New York fans have to be either Mets fan or Yankees fan. Well, we were just fans of the Jets. That was it. In that era, we loved Joe Namath, So you could be a fan from anywhere. So I'm a Phillies fan, and I'm also a Boston Bruins fan. So I have nothing to do with any other New York team. But I always have stayed loyal to the Jets. And believe me, where I live, we have Steelers fans, we have Eagles fans. I mean, in abundance. And once in a while, you go down the street, you see a few Jet logos. And we have a lot of people now moving in here from the New York area through the years. So we get a few more Jet fans, but we're always the butt of jokes. And when I see a take like that our Super Bowl is fixed, it sets me off. And it's irresponsible.
Dave,
it's irresponsible.
Dave,
yeah,
don't worry, man. No one believes it's fixed other than Yo Holmes, who might be a moron. So
Yes.
Don't worry. No, don't get that worked up over it. Doesn't matter. But I have some good news for the people. While Dave was ranting against Yo Holmes, basically going full BMAC on his ass.
Yeah.
Curly Norman gifted 1 membership, and Cincy Matt gifted 5, baby. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
Is that 3 away now?
That we are just 3 members away, as Boy Green just said, from the David emoji being added. Joni Rozier, Dorcas Bella, Brendan Hopkins, Gerard Suarez, Unreal NYC, all receiving channel memberships. Plus, listener Drew got the membership from Curly. We are 3 away. We're about to be only 2 away, though. I'm going to gift another one right now.
Ooh,
I really want this. I really want this emoji
Dang.
added. Did we get it?
Yes. Connor Long, baby.
Connor Long. Connor, this is your school allowance. What are you doing? You just gifted 5 memberships? Connor, you're nuts. I'm sending you a Venmo after the show. We're not allowing you to spend all your allowance money on memberships for this channel.
Money, 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 money.
Unreal. Connor Long spending his allowance money, Boy Green. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
That's his lunch money for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, I just gifted another membership, as promised. We are over the threshold now. I'll add it shortly. Let me get the list of names here. Connor Long, you animal. Ginny Jets, Robert Brady, Tamarack's Treehouse, Wen07, Louis Garcia, and Stu Jim Walton all just received channel memberships. We have enough. Let me upload, hit the refresh button.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang, it's up. There it is. Check it out, folks. The David I emoji. It's listed as David I for Asmaniac channel members. It's now live. Incredible. Beautiful. Boy Green, that's a perfect way to end today's show with you.
No doubt about it. Jake, Love it. Let's get a Jets dub tomorrow. Have some good things to talk about, and let's see if the Jets can make a crazy run. Wouldn't that be fun?
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Boy Green. Boy Green, you're the best, man. All the love.
All right, we'll see you later, brother.
Boy Green, checking in. All right, I'll stay on for a few more minutes if anyone else wants to call in. Appreciate everyone who gifted a membership. Connor Long gifting 5 is absurd. Absurd. Let's see. Peter Castro, BMAC a fraud. BMAC catching strays still. Let's see. Jake says, how do you even turn on gifted subscribers? So in the chat, Jake, you see where it says like Cincy Matt gifted 5 Jake Asman memberships or Connor Long. Click on the name and there's a thing that says, I want to receive a gifted membership. Like turn that on settings. You'll be good to go here. Rick Kent writes in AI summary, viewers in the chat are showing love for certain players in their baseball teams. It's just Rick Kent, Curly, and Cincy Matt. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time since the David emoji has been added, we say hello to David himself. What's up, David?
Hi. Hopefully my internet won't take a you-know-what. But anyway, I don't know why I deserve all this recognition. I just love being part of your show. And, I love the Jets. And, that's what it's all about. But I love it. I love the emoji. And, thanks to everyone.
We love it, David. You deserve it, man. Your calls have been electric all month. I think you're going to place very high in the rankings.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys make me feel like I'm part of the show, and that's what matters to me.
Damn right you are, David. Now we need the Jets to get a win in person next week when you're at the game in Miami.
Yes, thank you for that. And yeah, I'm already really pumped up about it, no matter what. And before I was going to say I let you go, but when Paul was on about the coach that my favorites coach and interesting GM Munkin. I think that's his favorite. And I live down in Clearwater, so I get the Tampa Bay sports radio, and they're talking about an assistant GM down here that has potential.
Mike Greenberg, the guy, not the ESPN personality, but the guy from Merrick, Long Island, who's in the Bucks front office. He could be a Jets candidate. He grew up a huge Jet fan. His family's still all Jet fans. That's a name to watch.
Yes, exactly. So, but anyway, thank you. Like I said, I don't know why I deserve all the recognition, but thank you,
David. Thank you. You're the man. Appreciate it. A great call from the architect, the inspiration behind this emoji. Incredible. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for maybe one last call. Before we bring on this next caller, legally, I have to issue a warning.
Warning! Warning! Allen alert! Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning! Allen alert! Hide the children!
A dressed up Allen on the show. Hello, Allen.
Good morning, Jacoby. How are you? First and foremost, I would like to thank my good friend Gary for speaking such nicety the last time he spoke to you. He is truly the salt of the earth and a true evaluator of amazing tight ends. Okay? 2 quick comments. Okay? First of all, every time I watch the Chiefs, I truly believe Roger Goodell has like an inside microphone into the referee's ear, because every one of those games seems to be really fishy. It's unbelievable watching the way they win every week. I can't explain it anymore. I don't know how they won yesterday. It's shocking to me how they win games every week the way they win. Just first and foremost. Secondly, on the Jets, and this will be the last time I talk about Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the year. The idea that oh, no, I will not. I'm done talking about him. He's gone in 6 weeks. But the idea that people want to bring him back and actually push forward the dead money to 2026 and 2027 is crazy, in my opinion. The idea that you want to pay him, you want to have a dead cap of $63 million down the road because you hope you can find lightning in a bottle in a 41 going on 42-year-old quarterback makes absolutely no sense to me. And the idea that a GM with quality wants to come here and have his head coach a 41 going on 42-year-old quarterback is even more outlandish. So that's the last time I'm going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I wish him luck in the future. I hope it's not here. I hope he has fun in Minnesota for 1 year, or maybe he goes to San Francisco for 1 year. It should not be with this franchise. So that's pretty much what I say. Again, this will be another winning Hawk game for the Seahawks. They will run roughshod on the Jets tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, Jacob. How are you?
Alan checking in. Does anyone actually think he's not going to mention Aaron Rodgers' name over the next 6 weeks? I don't. Chat, remember this, because I don't believe it to be true. I don't think Rodgers is the quarterback next year, but I'm also not going to sit here and act like there's no scenario where that doesn't happen, as I've been laying out. I think these next 6 games tell us a lot. I think tomorrow tells us a lot, though, because if he looks the same with a bye week and not being on the injury report, he's just not what he was. That's how I look at it. He's just not what he was. If he goes out there and looks a lot better, I think there's some credence to he's been playing hurt and he got healthy, and now we see what he can do the last 6 games. But I don't buy for a second that Allen won't mention Aaron Rodgers' name. Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to end the show, but you know what? This guy just called in. And I'm hoping that later today, several Asmaniacs who are in town for this game tomorrow will pay a visit to this guy at work.
The only thing better than all these shoes is sexy Rexy, because he also loves food. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody, and man, these Jets are depressing.
Jacoby. Look at Alan. I like that. Jacoby.
King douche.
That's hilarious. What's up, my man? What's going on?
I'm hanging in. How was Thanksgiving with the Bonesy family?
It was great, man. It was the same shit, different day, run back. The food was good. I probably put on a couple pounds. It's I always go hard at Thanksgiving. And my she's not my aunt, Dana's aunt, my wife's aunt. She makes a killer pecan pie.
Oh.
Are you with more than one person? Jesus, Joe's helping 2 people.
He's killing me, Jake. He's killing me.
I didn't realize. I seriously, I'm back here watching you. I didn't realize.
This pecan pie recipe is too important.
Well, I'll be quick, but Addison is in town. The town is on fire. I can't wait to give him a real hug.
When are they coming by? Because I'm supposed to meet up with Nate at Addison today. I got to meet Addison in person because I can't make the game tomorrow.
I don't know 100%. Nate, I think, is sleeping because he texted me at like 7:30 in the morning.
Oh my god!
And then I wrote him back, and I'm like, "Call me." And he hasn't answered. I called him twice when I was on my way to the train. He didn't answer, so he's probably knocked out. But
we coming to you in 30 minutes, says Nate.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm ready. So Nate is awake. So here I was just texting Addie. So I guess they're coming in 30. So Jake, you better bundle up because it's cold out there.
It's freezing. Nate says, then we'll meet you in Central Park. I might just show up at Alden's, Nate. I'd rather see Bonesy with Addison. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, we need a group photo, group hugs all around.
I love it.
Love my guys. Jets takes. I'm kind of at Jets takes. Piggybacking off of Allen hating on Rodgers. Allen hating so hard on Rodgers just reminds you that Allen will hate anybody. It's like even a Hall of Famer that he wanted to come here, he still has that much hatred. it seems like he's talking about Salah leaving, not Rodgers. He's too much. But I still want to see what these 6 games look like, and if we play with any fire. And I still think if the coach comes back, like if it's Rex or one of these like veteran coaches, I think they would want Rodgers back, in my opinion. If it's a younger guy, a younger offensive guy, maybe not, but we can't develop quarterbacks anyway. So I'd love to have Rodgers. I don't care about the ramifications, to be the bridge quarterback, because we can't develop quarterbacks in New York. So to have a Hall of Famer help develop and maybe pass the baton, that'd be cool, in my opinion, because we never get it right. So.
I think it just depends on what version we get down the stretch, right? Because then you don't want to mess up your salary cap if he's a below average quarterback at this point. If he got healthy and he looks good down the stretch, then it's at least a conversation what the plan is at quarterback for next year.
Yeah, I think my love blinds me too, because I don't think he's played as bad this year as it seemed because of the way we've lost games. If he played the way he has and we won more games, I think we'd be feeling a little different. But as my boy Joe Douglas will tell you, you're only as good as your record. So, the record hurts us, but he's putting us. And if Olbeck would have just listened to him, our season would still be alive. He would have just let him go for it both times in that Colts game. We probably would have closed it out like we did Texans, and maybe we'd be all a little more happier these past 2 weeks. But, oh wait, you know what I got today too, right? I got my Asmaniacs.
Hey,
I had to get that going today. I wore that in, so
I'm wearing the white version of it. There it is.
Let's go, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Mr. Bonesy, who I'll be seeing in a little bit.
Yes, sir. Talk soon.
Bonesy, checking in. Board Fat just dropped a massive amount of memberships on Paul's channel, but Paul's not here right now. He had to run. So 10 people just got memberships on Boy Green's channel. Cash money, baby. Shout out to Board Fat for supporting content creators worldwide. All right, one last call here, and then we'll wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Dre is up next. What's up, Dre?
How you doing, Jake, my brother? Good to see you. Trying to stay warm in this weather. Listen, was that a mirage, or is that JJ saying that he didn't want Mike Tannenbaum? I thought Mike Tannenbaum was JJ's favorite GM of all time. And he literally, I don't want Mike Tannenbaum anywhere near this team. And I was like, oh, but I thought that was his favorite. So now Mike Tannenbaum is not even qualified, or even someone even be able to do, a talent evaluation. Like I just don't know. That's my whole thing. I don't know if I trust what the team, that the team is going to get the pick right. I don't think that there is a brain trust. If it doesn't involve Allen and Gary, then I don't trust that people are going to know enough football, because, with Gary and his Brock Bowers, takes, I just feel like, we're just looking we're overshooting everybody talented enough and qualified enough to help get this team right. So, I mean,
Allen should be the GM, or Allen should be the coach, and Gary should be the GM, because Gary has never been wrong with player evaluation ever. He's never been wrong about anything ever.
That's right.
So,
yes.
we'll never miss on a draft pick again, or a free agent signing, or a trade if Gary is calling the shots.
How that would be so comical. Like, they should actually do it. Like Woody, I wish Woody was watching this show. And I know how Woody, there's talk how Woody loves Jets Twitter and all of that. But if that was to actually happen, I think all the Jets fans, or at least all the Asmaniacs, could get behind that and be like, hey, okay, you guys talk so much smack, so much stuff, and then we're going to sit back and watch, and we're going to go to every practice. And every time that they do something wrong, we're not going to let them live it down. That's the only saving grace to the comedy of tears that has just been this entire ride. Aaron Rodgers ride, this whole, like, the expectations and everything, and how it all comes crashing down. I don't know. I'm still depressed and everything like that. But I'm glad to see Bonesy. I'm glad he ate. I'm glad he had a good Thanksgiving. People need to stop giving V-Man crap. V-Man had an authentic Puerto Rican Thanksgiving. I don't know what is that business going on with Hector over there, but Hector needs to let stuff go. And other than that, anybody wants to come after me, I don't care. I couldn't get. You know what? My paycheck stays the same at the end of every 2 weeks. So we out here. We keeping it moving, baby.
Ladies and
Stay
gentlemen,
warm.
Dre, how cold is it outside? I'm about to go see Bonesy and Clancy.
Well, I'm 3 hours north of y'all, so it's always 10 degrees colder here. It snowed for my Thanksgiving. I know it rained for y'all, but yeah, we got like a foot and a half of snow.
Well, I'll tell you, tomorrow in East Rutherford, it's going to be a chilly day.
Oh yeah, see, I might put it on TV if I'm not watching like a movie or something like that. I'm binge watching Yellowstone. Now that is a great series.
You're gonna watch the Jet game. Give me a break. You're gonna watch
I promise you, I'm hooked on Yellowstone right now. It's all about Yellowstone.
Dre, you're not gonna watch the Jet game tomorrow. Give me a break. Get out of here. I'm not listening to this. You'll be locked in. You only get 17 of these a year. You're gonna watch the Jet game. You're gonna watch Yellowstone. Kevin Costner, another shit GM. Board Fat, 5 memberships. Board Fat, you truly are, without question, one of the all-time greats.
Show me the money. Show me the money! Money.
LJ Statues, Thomas Kearney, PK2K, King Twister, and Nick Shine's second account receiving a channel membership. Incredible. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a show. Thank you all for watching. A lot of fun. Thanks to Boy Green who came on for the first hour of the program. If you want to support me, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Today's the last day you could join the Patreon if you want your name added for the month of December. Think about that. Your name added to the countdown if you go out there and join the Patreon today. We update the list every single month. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. There's a bonus show up there this week I posted that's not on YouTube. It includes access to our Discord. It includes, for a limited time only, 25% discounts on all items in the JakeAsman.com merch store. Just to recap, tomorrow, 4 to 5:30, hear me hosting the Jake Asman Show on ESPN New York. Then at 5:30, the Jake Asman postgame show for Jets Seahawks will air on YouTube. So if you want my immediate thoughts on this Jets game tomorrow, put on ESPN New York, download the app, and you can listen right on your phone, or 8:80 a.m. if you're in the car coming back from the Jet game. And then be here on YouTube as we will go live at exactly 5:30 tomorrow. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you all for your incredible support. JETS. Jets, baby.
So when I was walking into the stadium, Jake, I think I told you I had to have my Stiggers jersey today that just got here that I showed you on the last call. And I see a white shirt that says Stiggers uncle. Next to him, I see Stiggers mom. Like all of Stiggers' family was there, and they're wearing all the shirts that say how they're related to him. I'm like, hey guys, I like your shirts. And I start breaking out my Stiggers jersey, which was in my bag. And the mom was like, no, you're not going to do it. I was like, I'm a big fan of your son. Like, I love the story. And she's like, you're going to make me cry. And like,
wow.
And the mom was there, and they both broke into tears.
Oh, that's so nice.
Another lady there saw the moment, was like, let me take a picture of you guys. We're right at the 50-yard line, like the entrance, took a picture of all of us. She's like, I need those pictures. Grabs my phone, texts Quantez from my phone the pictures, and texts her the pictures from my phone. And then he responds, he's like, hey, like to her phone. I was like, this is a surreal moment. And it's his first game. Like it was surreal for them. But yeah, she was in tears walking in, and she was like, I told him I'd be there on Tuesday and I'll bring the jersey. I'm going to try to meet him at a training camp practice. But it was cool to have this who you said last call, like he might have a different jersey number, but it was like grandma had the jersey and I was one of the only people in the arena with a Quantez Stiggers jersey.
That is an amazing story. You got to be maybe the only Jet fan that actually owns a Quantez Stiggers jersey besides his family. Like, think about that.
I don't know any other 37s in Jets history, so I say
that's great.
Keep 37, get it in the rafters, Quantez. I'm a big fan.
Nate, Nate, what a call. Quantez Stiggers.
How do you feel about this whole Dazan Reddick news?
I think Dazan should show up to training camp immediately, Lane.
I don't think we're going to win the Super Bowl. without him. I look like V-Man in the bed right now. Yep. Moving along.
Thank you for the call today.
You're welcome.
Oh wow.
Aw. For days. Hasn't stopped. Non-stop. She's a Yorkie, but half terrier.